Hello and welcome to today's video where we will be going through how has utility use been affected by the grenade drop update. So back in September, Valve decided that you can now drop grenades on the floor and basically allow them to be mobilized in a way, and then obviously people can use a stack of grenades that are on the floor next to them. And I want to see like how has that actually affected things, because on the face of things not much has changed other than the way some maps might play. For example, on Banana, you might see sometimes the CT side will drop their smokes in spawn, and then one of the players will drag them to the bomb site, and they can use them for a long time, right? But realistically, it's not changed that much in terms of what we see from the flash statistics or the damage per round from grenades, that sort of thing. I just thought I'd get the numbers to prove what I think is happening anyway. So we start forward with the so this is the top 25 players from the last year. If you're using, like, so we've got Navi, all 5 of their players, Gambit, all 5 of their players, G2, all 5 of theirs, Vitality, all 5 of theirs, and Heroic, all 5 of theirs. So this is the top 5 teams by earnings. So you could argue the most successful teams of the year. So this is now showing pre-update data. So average nade damage per round, which is in blue, flashes thrown per round, which is in green, flash assists per round, which is in red. And this goes from January 1st to September 21st. Okay. So we can see quite clearly that, you know, some of the people who were outliers in terms of damage of grenades, it was Apex, Cadian, you know, Hobbit was up there as well, Nafany too. Like, you know, not too many surprising figures, really. Like, this is more of just like this is what it was like before. Okay. And then we have after, right? So the big noticeable one is that we see Apex jump up quite a bit here. Flashes thrown, we won't be able to tell a difference until I get to the next slide, which I do compare them. So I'll do that now. So this is now individually comparing their pre-update and post-update. So this is the grenade damage. So we see some players getting a drop-off quite significantly, really. Like the likes of Nafany and Nexa. So you could argue that because they would have more chances to use flashbangs. So for example, an Ancient, that pistol round we see on the T-side quite often is people dropping flashbangs outside the double door, and that player will then throw 3, 4, maybe 5 flashes all over the roof, and that'll be bombarding them. And obviously that means you're probably not going to have HE grenades, you're going to have the double flashes, right? So I'm wondering if that's actually a reason for these players dropping such a heavy amount. Kyojin, I noticed, had a lot more of an increase in terms of flash use as well, which I think was more the lineup trying to experiment, seeing obviously things weren't working, let's see if he can go more of a supportive role, that sort of thing. And then the flashes thrown per round, which gives me the same reasoning. So Cadian, Nafany, Kyojin, Nexa, all of them having an increase in the flashes they threw. Perfecto, for whatever reason, he was kind of the anomaly in all of this. Like, he had a decrease in his nade damage, he had a decrease in his flashes thrown as well. It just feels a bit odd, really. Like, it's just nothing too clear about that. But Apex had an increase as well in his flashes thrown. So he increased his damage, he increased his flashes. And now let's see if he actually increased his flash assist, which he did not. He dropped quite a lot. So he threw more flashes, but his flash assist dropped crazily, right? There's not much to go off of here other than the fact Cadian had his go up. He threw, I think it was 0.15 more flashes, so that kind of makes sense. Nico dropped off as well. I will attribute this to something that I've noticed, which I am going to go over in a video soon, actually, which is about the way he changed his play style after the player break, because there was a very noticeable difference, and it wasn't noticeable just by clearly showing like the stat. Obviously, in the stats he performed great, he was incredible, but it was more than just that. So this is now using. So this is 10 players, right, who are some of the world's best when it comes to grenade damage, some of the world's best when it comes to flash assists as well. So it's a combo of both, and I wanted to see, is there a correlation between it for these guys, right? So you've got Alexi B, everybody's going to be like, yeah, he had that sick game where he got given grenades over and over again, he had 1,000 utility damage, yes, he will clearly improve, but he already had 9.6 per round before the update. Tabson had 10.3, Glaive, Blamef, Magisk, like some great damage dealers here. And then flash assist wise, they're all on the higher end too, other than perhaps Blamef, Magisk, and then Snappy. They're all a bit They're probably about middling to upper tier, but everybody else was, you know, tier 1. So this is pre-update. And now we have post, right? So Alexei B, obviously, he's off the charts. Tabson increased as well. Glaive actually drops, but we'll cover that now. So this is actually the difference in grenade damage before and after. And for these players, half of them increased, half of them decreased, which you could argue is a perfect average that nothing really changed. But obviously we saw how it changed for players like Alexei. They manipulated the use of the grenades on the team, collecting them. Tabson, I mean, Big were always quite good at getting good efficiency out of their grenades anyway, so that's not too surprising. Blamef, Magisk, they already had high numbers, Mighty Max as well. And then Flash's Throne, this barely changed, like, yeah, minuscule. Compared to what we saw in the previous one, this is absolutely minuscule. Like 0.03 is the increase for some of these players, and then decrease-wise it's 0.09, which is a fair amount. Like, that's going to be like 10% of his total value. And then Flash Assist increase or decrease, it's marginal again, which, you know, ultimately, going through these numbers, I think it's quite clear that in terms of the statistics, they're virtually the same, barring 1 or 2 outliers who will be recognized as having taken advantage of how these things changed. But ultimately, they were already good. They're just better now, especially. And the players who have been getting more flash assists, they were already good as well. It's just more now that they are being given extra supplies to produce. So it's kind of funny just to think about it, because at the time I was very skeptical about the change. I thought it would kind of ruin the play of some of the maps. And it hasn't. Like, to be fair, it hasn't. It's actually added new dynamics to everything. And honestly, a great change when you really break it down. A really good change. And I was just kind of really surprised to get this, get these results, actually, because I thought there'd be way bigger differences, and there isn't. So if you have any thoughts on this, comment down below. This is the sort of stuff I really like doing, because it's kind of, it's like based off of eye tests, or like just comparing have things changed, right? So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.